Imagine this nightmare. You're at the cruise terminal, bag packed, passport in hand, ready for the vacation of a lifetime, only to hear those four dreaded words: sorry, you can't board. Forget about obvious mistakes like an expired passport or arriving late, because in 2025, some of the most shocking denials are happening for reasons you'd never expect. Today, we're exposing the unwritten rules and hidden policies that cruise lines do not advertise but fully enforce. Here are 11 surprising traps that blind even seasoned cruisers to small mistakes with massive consequences. Let's get into it and make sure this nightmare doesn't happen to you. Number 1. Criminal records affecting admission requirements. This catches many passengers off guard, and the cruise line isn't about to call. If your itinerary includes a country where your criminal history makes you inadmissible, you may be denied boarding before the ship leaves port. Canada is one of the harshest examples. Even a single DUI, no matter how old, can make you inadmissible unless you've applied for criminal rehabilitation or a temporary resident permit. An Alaska-bound passenger learned this the hard way when Canadian officials flagged his record before sailing. Because the cruise included a stop in Victoria, BC, the cruise line refused to allow her to board in Seattle to avoid problems later in the trip. And Canada is not alone. Australia, New Zealand, and many Asian countries have strict entry laws for certain convictions. Although cruise lines typically do not perform background checks themselves, passenger manifests are sent to port authorities ahead of time. If a country says you cannot enter, the cruise line will often deny boarding altogether to protect the itinerary. If you have a criminal history, even decades old, research the entry rules for each port before booking. When in doubt, seek legal advice or apply for a waiver in advance. Don't leave it to chance. The cruise line will not accept responsibility, and you may be stuck in port without a refund. Number 2, you stink. It may sound harsh, but yes, it is possible to be denied boarding on a cruise due to hygiene issues, including bad body odor. Cruise lines, like airlines, reserve the right to refuse service to anyone whose condition may affect the comfort, health, or safety of others. This is covered by travel and comfort safety provisions that are usually decided at the discretion of the ship's captain or medical staff. Although clear cases involving odor are rare and largely anecdotal, many lines' policies state that guests who cannot independently maintain personal hygiene or whose condition may affect the well-being of others may be denied boarding without a refund. If a medical condition, whether physical or hygiene-related, may endanger the comfort or safety of others, the company may still refuse boarding. This becomes more complicated when the odor comes from a medical condition such as trimethylaminura, also known as fish odor syndrome, a rare metabolic disorder that causes persistent odor. Cases like these raise real ethical concerns, but cruise lines' priority will still be overall comfort for passengers. The smart move is active communication. If you have a medical condition that may be covered by this policy, contact the cruise line's special needs or accessibility department prior to booking. Provide medical documentation, discuss possible accommodations, and confirm in writing that you will be allowed to board. Once you arrive at the terminal, decisions are in the hands of on-site staff and may not be flexible. Number 3, your reservation was maliciously canceled. You weren't denied boarding for work, but because someone else decided to sabotage your trip. This happens when someone gets your booking number and personal details. That's all they need. In one real case, a cruiser posted a screenshot of her $15,000 family cruise confirmation on social media. Within hours, an unknown person tracked down British Columbia, used the booking number to access and cancel the reservation. The family flew to Miami, bags in hand, hoping for a last-minute solution, but the plane left without them. Their cabin was gone, the ship was sold, and their dream vacation had evaporated. Carnival offered them interior rooms as an alternative, far from what they had booked, but the damage was done. It shows how vulnerable the travelers are. A booking number in the wrong hands can wipe out months of planning with a single click. Keep this number safe like a bank password. Never post reservation screenshots or share sensitive details online. In today's world, an innocent post can be an open invitation for someone to ruin your vacation. Number 4, incomplete or incorrect booking information. It's one of those mistakes that seems minor until it ruins your entire vacation. Incomplete or incorrect booking information means errors in the cruise line system, typographical errors, or mismatched details in your reservation. Your booking record must exactly match your legal ID. This means your full legal name, correct date of birth, and valid passport details. A passenger found out too late that the wrong year of birth was entered in their booking. Immigration flagged it during the manifest check, and the cruise line couldn't fix it before departure. He was denied boarding on the spot due to lack of time to correct it. And here is the cooker. These problems can occur even if you book months in advance. An incorrect passport number, missing middle name, or wrong suffix can all cause problems, especially on international cruises where manifests are sent to port authorities ahead of time. If your details don't exactly match, it can turn into a legal and logistical headache. Don't wait until check-in. The moment you receive your booking confirmation, review every detail and correct any errors immediately. A 5-minute call months before departure is far better than a last-minute disaster at the pier. Number 5, insufficient or mismatched identification documents. It's one of the most common and heartbreaking reasons why passengers never make it past the pier, and it's almost always preventable. Expired passports and missing visas are obvious problems, but the real danger is in the smaller details. Cruise lines don't just check if you have a passport, they check if it is flawless. A small tear, water damage, or a blurry image can make it inaccurate. A couple lost their trip because of a loose stitch in their passport, even though it had been accepted by another country a few weeks earlier. Similarity of names is another trip killer. If your name is changed due to marriage, divorce, or gender transition and does not exactly match your identity, you will need legal documentation as proof. Some cruise lines, such as Carnival, do not support middle names or suffixes in their booking system, which can cause problems if your booking and ID do not match. Even for closed-loop cruises from U.S. ports, which sometimes allow birth certificates and photo identification, only original government documents are accepted. A photocopy or picture on your phone will give you away. And importantly for families, if you are traveling with children who are not your own, such as grandchildren, nieces, or nephews, you must carry a valid letter of consent from a parent or guardian. This also applies to single parents traveling internationally. So, do the boring stuff. Triple-check your documents, verify the expiration dates. Get the names correct and bring all required paperwork. It can mean the difference between staying off the plane or being left behind. Number 6, unfit to travel on account of health. It's not often talked about, but it's a real reason people are denied boarding. And it's not just about having a fever. Cruise lines have medical staff at the terminal, and if they decide you're unfit to travel, whether because of visible symptoms or a recent health problem, they can remove you on the spot. One woman was marked for a persistent cough that she knew was just allergies. She wasn't contagious, but staff feared it could be something more serious. After a quick evaluation, he was denied boarding without a refund. In rare cases, passengers using wheelchairs or other mobility devices are also turned away, but only if there are additional medical or safety concerns, never for mobility alone. These examples show how cautious and subjective these decisions can be. Any visible signs of illness, suspected infectious conditions, significant cognitive impairment, or recent major surgery may result in denial of boarding. In many cases, cruise lines require a signed fit to send a letter from your doctor, especially if you have a current or ongoing medical condition. Cruise ships are not hospitals, and medical emergencies at sea are difficult to manage. If you have any recent or ongoing health concerns, physical or mental, contact the cruise line's medical department in advance. Declare your status, confirm required paperwork, and avoid last-minute surprises at the terminal. Number 7, unaccompanied minors and age policies. This rule quietly ends spring break dreams and graduation trips before they even begin. Just because you're old enough to book doesn't mean you're old enough to travel alone. Most major cruise lines have strict minimum age requirements to occupy a stateroom without an older companion. If you are sailing from North America with Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Norwegian, Princess, or MSC, you must be 21 or older to reserve your cabin. Passengers under the age of 21 must be accompanied by someone 25 years of age or older, unless they are legally married or active duty military. But here's a twist. If you are traveling with Royal Caribbean from outside North America, the minimum age to travel alone is 18. But Carnival and Norwegian globally maintain their 21-plus rule, unless you meet an exception. Virgin Voyages takes a different route. This is an adults-only cruise line, and 18 is the minimum to book and travel. Picture it. A group of college friends arrive in Miami, boarding passes ready, but no one is 21. Cruises are paid in full, but at check-in, their IDs show the truth. The ship runs without them. No cabins, no refunds, no discounts. Before packing, check the cruise line's minimum sailing age. And remember, it depends on your departure port and cruise brand. Spending a few minutes verifying this could save thousands of dollars and your vacation. Well, we're deep into the Shadow Rulebook. If you found this valuable, please take a moment to hit the like button so more cruisers can see these alerts. Thanks. Now let's talk about how the clothes in your suitcase can get you in trouble, not just with the cruise line, but with the local police. Number 8. Offensive or inappropriate clothing. Many cruisers don't realize that what you wear can affect your trip and in some cases get you into trouble. This includes clothing with offensive or explicit messages, but also items that may violate local laws. For example, in countries such as Barbados, Jamaica, and Antigua and Barbuda, it is illegal for civilians, including tourists, to wear camouflage. These samples are strictly reserved for military use. If your cruise stops at one of these locations and you jump ashore, you may be fined, asked to change, or denied entry by local authorities. In one case, a passenger wore a camouflage tank top on the day of travel and was pulled aside. He thought nothing of it. It was just a fashion choice, but the staff warned her that wearing it on the beach could lead to fines or even arrest. While enforcement varies and some travelers don't report a problem, it's not worth the risk. Cruise staff may also ask you to change if your attire is deemed inappropriate for the family-friendly atmosphere of the ship. Refusal to comply may result in denied boarding or removal from the ship. Bottom line, before packing, do a quick Google search for the dress restrictions for the port you'll be visiting. And as a general rule, leave the camo and anything with controversial or explicit content at home to avoid unnecessary stress or the port you are excited to see. Number 9. Failing the mandatory safety drill. You've made it past every checkpoint, stepped on board, and the music is calling your name from the Lido deck. It looks like vacation has begun, but it hasn't. One final requirement stands between you and getting off the ship, and ignoring it will get you kicked out before the ship even leaves port. I'm talking about the mandatory safety drill, or Mr. Drill. This is not a friendly proposition. This is required under international maritime law. Every traveler must fulfill it. Yet, on every cruise, someone decides the rule doesn't apply to them. They hide in their cabins or head to the bar, hoping no one will notice. But crew notices. Security officers will check the cabin, call your name over the PA, and give you one last chance. Fail to show up and they will deactivate your cruise card and escort you off the ship. No arguments, no refunds, just you standing on the pier watching your vacation slip away without you. Pro tip: consider the muster drill the most important appointment of your trip. It takes minutes, and once it's done, the pool, bar, and buffet will still be waiting. Your vacation starts when the captain gets the all clear, not before. No. 10. Overbooking or last-minute cabin problems. This is a frustrating one because it can happen through no fault of your own. Like airlines, cruise lines sometimes overbook their ships, and in rare cases, a last-minute maintenance disaster such as a burst pipe or broken air conditioner can put your particular cabin out of service. Imagine checking in, everything perfect, only to be told an hour later, "We're sorry, your cabin is not available and the ship is full." It's like crashing a flight, except your entire vacation is over. While most cruise lines handle overbooking by offering generous compensation to volunteers for moving books, passenger reports confirm that unnecessary bumping can still happen, especially with guaranteed cabins or sudden maintenance issues. Documented cases of overselling and last-minute cabin cancellations have occurred recently this year. If this happens to you, don't take the first offer you get. Negotiate better terms, such as a full refund and a significant credit toward future cruises. You can't completely eliminate this risk, but you can reduce it. Book directly with the cruise line. Avoid the guarantee cabin and complete online check-in as soon as it opens. Passengers with early check-in and confirmed cabin assignments are least likely to be bumped. Number 11, filing a post-cruise credit card dispute or chargeback. This is one of the reasons it sneaks up on passengers, sometimes years after their last sailing. This happens when a passenger, unhappy with part of their cruise, files a credit card dispute or chargeback after returning home. Maybe their shore excursion was canceled, the cabin didn't match the brochure, or they weren't satisfied with a future cruise credit. The bank may agree with them and issue a refund, but the cruise line doesn't see it that way. To them, it is an unpaid debt, and they have a long memory. Many travelers only find out the result when they try to book another voyage, only to find that they are not on the cruise line's sales list. Some also receive letters from debt collectors demanding payment. In a famous case with Norwegian Cruise Line, a passenger disputed $3,000 for a canceled cruise credit, got a refund, and thought it was over until he learned he was banned from traveling with the line again. The lesson is simple. Resolve billing issues directly with the cruise line. A quick win with your bank could cost you every future trip with this brand. Bonus tip: the #1 insurance mistake. Before we wrap up, here's one last bonus tip. This is not a reason for denial, but it is the biggest mistake that costs cruisers thousands. Many people assume that travel insurance is a magic bullet, but it often won't cover the reasons we've discussed. Denial due to a criminal record or name mismatch in your booking is usually seen as the fault of the passenger, and most policies will not compensate you. Always read the fine print of your policy. The takeaway is simple. A little extra preparation means you'll be sipping cocktails on deck instead of watching your ship sail away. And to be fully prepared, make sure you know the most common reasons for denial that we have covered in a part of this series. You can see it on the screen here. Thanks for watching.